Hey, everyone, and welcome to A Women's Point of View. I am Shonda Orlesia, and you guys know my fabulous co host, Miss K. Nicole. How are you this evening?
I'm wonderful. How are you today?
I am wonderful. It is hot in Georgia. You not down here in Georgia with us for the next 2 weeks. How is it up there in Chicago?
Oh, see, I wasn't about to announce where I was, but it's hot. It's hot.
Oh,
So I'm not missing the heat. It followed me,
oh
but
wow.
it's okay.
The heat came with you, huh?
You know what? And I wouldn't have it any other way. You know, me and Cole are not friends at all.
Well, this
But you look amazing.
yeah, you don't like cold at all. So I'm glad it's hot up there. So it's a blessing that it's hot where you are.
Yes, yes. You look amazing
Oh
today.
boy, girl, I'm trying to tell you. I ain't gonna tell you, but look, I ain't gonna tell you what I told when I was in the interview with Miss T. These bones, boy, I tell you something different. They tell you something different.
But you know what the catch is how you look outside don't have to explain how you feel inside.
I know, right? You look amazing
Mm,
yourself, Miss Queen. You look amazing.
But well, thank you. I try. I try.
I know. So you
A
know,
mere reflection of my sister.
uh, oh, stop it now, stop it. Well, this is truly has been this month of July alone has really been kicked off, especially with a woman's point of view. We have some amazing people coming from the EPI um, PR firm. Thank you
Yeah.
so much from Miss Ebony, who has set everything up for this month for the ladies that will be on a woman's point of view. We started out last week with Dr. Rhonda Trivet, who was amazing. Blessed
Yes.
us completely. Blessed us completely. And
Unwillingly and unknowingly. Yes.
exactly. Exactly. And she didn't even know what she was doing. She was just talking normal, as she said, being transparent. And she did an
Exactly.
amazing job. I am so grateful for her um, being on here. So it
Hmm.
was truly amazing. So we're back again at it with another amazing woman. Oh, what can we say about her? Author, founder, the list
Philanthropist.
philanthropist. List goes on and on and on and on. We're about to bring her up to join us. We have Miss Karen Arlington. How are you, Miss Karen?
I'm wonderful. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you for joining us.
My pleasure.
Yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So, we just shouted out some of the titles, founder, philanthropist, author, so on and so on. But for those, see, that's what we know about you. So, for those that don't know you, the listeners that are online, the viewers that is on Facebook as well as YouTube Live, can you go ahead and let the listeners, the viewers, know a little bit more about Miss Karen Arlington?
Absolutely. Well, I'm also a women's empowerment expert. At an early age, I become an activist. So at age 15, I decided that the racist name of the middle school that I was attending was not the kind of school that I wanted to attend and have school spirit. So I started a protest to have the school name changed. And several years later, the name was changed from Roger B. Taney to Thurgood Marshall Middle School. Now, Roger B. Taney was a U.S. Supreme Court justice who said that Black people were not citizens. So, I wasn't having it. I, I grew up
Exactly.
a activist, and so it's really been ingrained in me to always figure out how I can help, our community. I was always inspired by intelligent, beautiful, strong Black women like my mother. And so I always grew up reading about those African American sheroes who paved the way for us. And they really inspired me to use whatever talents I had to give back. So it's really ingrained, I think, in my DNA. I've personally mentored over 1,000 young women, helping guide them into high-powered careers in medicine, education, law, entertainment, and science. I've racked up over 100,000 hours in service, and I'm just getting started.
You
Wow.
know, you mentioning hours, I noticed that you have something called the 10,000 hour rule. Can you tell us a little bit more about what exactly is that?
Absolutely, and that's a good question. And I always ask people, the 10,000 hour, have you ever heard of it? And basically, what it means is that if you really want to consider yourself an expert in anything, in any field, you want to dedicate at least 10,000 hours to it. So that's why it's called the 10,000 hour rule. Um,
Mhm.
and 10,000 hours, honestly, that's, um, you accumulate that over a lifetime. So that
Mm.
means that I'm like in my fourth life
Oh wow.
Right. Right.
at this point. But that's what it means, is that you should accumulate 10,000 hours to really consider yourself an expert in any area.
That right there is extremely powerful. It's something that so many people, including myself, you really don't think about. You just kind of keep going.
Hmm.
Um, but you don't really say, okay, I'm an expert at this, unless a lot of people say, unless someone else says I'm kind of an expert, or unless I'm able to teach it. That's when you're actually able to say, I'm an expert. A lot of people say once they've mastered it, but you don't really think about the hours in regards to what it really takes to really say that you know what you're doing, you're an expert, or you've mastered it. So I love that.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
It also it also talks about you being a Goodwill ambassador. How did that become about?
Yeah, that's another one of the many hats that I wear. A Goodwill Ambassador to the country of Sierra Leone. So what that is means is that I'm considered an honorary diplomat. Generally, Goodwill Ambassadors are people who do goodwill and do something significant to help improve the economy and the people in a particular country. And
Mm-hmm.
so in 2007, 179 young women to West Africa, to the Gambia, where Alex Haley filmed the movie Roots. And what I was doing was reconnecting
Mm-hmm.
African Americans to the diaspora. And so I worked with His Excellency the President at the time. And, it was a significant milestone for African Americans to be able to reconnect to any African American, any country there. And while I was there, I decided that something needed to be done to improve the health conditions of the local people.
Right.
And I visited a local hospital and I was devastated. I broke down when I saw the conditions. And so I came back to the US and I was speaking with my own personal physician, talking to her about it, and said that I wanted to do something. And she looked at me and she said, let's do something. So I found out that diabetes was the number one cause of death in the Gambia. And we usually think, AIDS is the leading cause of death in Africa. So we decided to host the first diabetes awareness day in the Gambia, and we took medical equipment there. Dr. Carol, took her staff, and we did a full day of testing and saved a lot of lives that day. And so His Excellency the President heard about it. So I'm also a Goodwill Ambassador to that country as well. And then, of course, in the African nation, there are 50, I believe it's 52 now. So once you're connected with one African country or president, then they all hear about you. So
Right.
I started to do work, and then I met with the ambassador of Sierra Leone, and I was so impressed with the work that he was doing in the country, and the president there asked me to also be a good ambassador and appointed me one there as well. So I'm a big advocate for reconnecting African Americans to the diaspora and doing the work to really demyth the stereotypes that we are fed over here in the US.
Wow.
Now, I mean, before I actually move to the question that's been burning a hole in my mind, um, in regards to going and now wanting to make sure that everyone has some type of basically a connection or education and knowledge of everything that's going on there, especially the um, diabetes awareness that you brought to the light in Africa for people that aren't sure about how to do things like that, or if it's even possible, especially now with COVID and things of such that's happening. How does that work, or has that made has that impacted negatively in the goal that you've been moving forward with in regards to United States individuals in the United States to get them over to Africa?
Mhm. Well, for me, my work really just, increased significantly. One, increased significantly because um, African nations have always disproportionately been underfunded and not had the resources, of course, that we have here, and often, of course, that we take for granted. And so when the pandemic hit, COVID, it devastated the African nations. I mean, it's horrendous what they're going through. I mean, here, we can stay at home, but they can't stay at home. There are no resources if they don't get out there in the fields, and harvest, and try to find sources of income. So they've really been devastated, and even in South Africa, they aren't even going to open until 2021 for tourism.
Oh,
That's
wow.
Yeah, that's devastating. So I encourage African Americans anything that they can do to give to, say, Red Cross or any agency that caters to the African nations, to please do so and donate. Even if it's $10, that will buy a bag of rice and food, and feed an entire family for. But they are really hurting bad and crushed. And so I'm doing what I can. But of course, even here in the US, I mean, we face with challenges logistically. And of course, the borders are closed. So travel is limited. And then, of course, if you go there, you could be quarantined, you could be turned away. I mean, there are just so many challenges that we face right now. So really the best that we could do is to donate to those who are already there serving on the ground.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
It's crazy.
Well, I
COVID
mean,
has stopped. COVID has stopped a lot. COVID
Yeah,
most
yeah.
definitely has stopped a lot.
Mm-hmm.
yes, this is true. Knowing that you've been the founder and you've started so many things, you've also started the first Miss Black America pageant. Um, can you tell us more about that? What motivated you to start that? And then I believe it has a scholarship program attached to it.
Yes, absolutely. So it's actually Miss Black USA, and there is a Miss
Miss
Black America
Black USA.
too.
Yes.
One is Miss Black America, which is considered a beauty pageant. I'm the founder and CEO of Miss Black USA, which is the first and oldest scholarship pageant. So to date, we've
Mhm.
given over $500,000 in scholarships to young Black women. Um, and so I started the pageant because I grew up, again, as a young teen, looking for ways to give back. And so what I found was when I grew up, there were not many positive images of Black women in mainstream media. And when I opened up magazines and turned on the TV, I didn't see powerful, intelligent young Black women that looked like me. And so
Mhm.
I was inspired to do something about that. And I saw pageantry as a vehicle. And so when I decided to form or establish Miss Black USA, really established an empowerment organization that just happened to be a pageant. So what I did is I said, you know what, through pageantry, we can award girls titles, which will allow them to connect with influencers in their states and communities that wouldn't be able to do so otherwise. It also gives them an opportunity to develop and hone in their leadership skills. It also allows them to become influencers, and advocate and amplify their voices on causes that they are passionate about. So there were so many things that you can do in pageantry. And so what we do is we work with the young women for a full year, not only helping them to compete and win on stage, but help them to compete and win in life. And so, as I said, it's really an empowerment organization that just happens to be in the category of a pageant. And so we're really proud because when I started it in '87, Black were barely getting their undergraduate degrees. And today, 80% of the contestants who competed in this Black USA are actually in graduate or professional school. Last year, we had 4 young women who were practicing attorney. So when I look at these young women, I mean, they're the Michelle Obamas, and I see that, and I'm so proud to be able to see that Black Beauty wins every single year at Miss Black USA.
That in itself
is
is
truly amazing. I applaud and commend
inspiring.
you.
Yes,
I applaud and commend you
absolutely.
for doing that, because you have so many people that wants to give back. Like I myself are one of the people that that wants to give back and is going to give back to my community. The question I have for you is, how was that? What would your advice be? And I'm not just speaking for myself,
Mhm.
speaking for those that wants to start like foundations and programs like that. How would they go about starting that? And how would they? Well, not how would they journey be, but how would you? What advice would you give them? Let me say it that way. Would you give them into starting that process to a foundation or giving back? What advice would you give us? I'll say us because I'm including myself in that.
Good, good. I'm so glad to hear.
I'll take that.
But also, I really do that all of us really we have an obligation, to give back to communities and to continue to build them up. And especially as Black women, we've always been nurtured. And so we know that, if you empower a woman, you empower a family. If you empower a family, you empower a community. And of course, if you empower a community, you empower an entire nation. And I believe that women are the true architects of our society. So first thing is to understand that the only limits that you have are the ones that you place on yourself. And you don't need permission to do whatever it is that you feel that you're called to do. I didn't ask for permission to co-found the first Diabetes Awareness Day. I walked in that hospital and I knew within my heart that I had to do something, that there's no way that I could leave that country and see children laying on dying, because they didn't have access to quality medical care. So while I was literally having my physical and talking to my physician, I just happened to share the story with her of what I saw and how I wanted to do something. And sometimes all it requires, if we don't know how to do something, is to speak up and let someone know. Because I can tell you, and I say this in my book, which is Your Next Level Life. Your Next Level Life, 7 Rules of Power, Opportunity, and Confidence for Black Women in America. I give 7 simple rules of success. And one of them is to stop hanging around people who have your problem and hang around people who have your solution. And
Come on now.
and I tell you, that really is key. When you begin to cultivate your circle and, and surround yourself with people who have a solution, the clouds will part in your favor, and there's nothing that you can't do that you've been called to do. So the first thing really is deciding that, what, today I'm going to start a foundation, to empower young African girls, or today I'm going to start a foundation, to raise funds for diabetes, or raise funds for heart disease, or breast cancer, or what it is that you feel passionate and called to do. Make a decision to do it. And then make the internet your best friend, because there are so many resources on the internet. there's so much money, grants and funds, and I talk about in my book, Your Next Level Life. Um, Billions of dollars every single year go to waste because no one applies for it. I won a grant from Jones, New York, literally online, the same day of the deadline. I applied 30 minutes prior to the deadline. All it required was 2 paragraphs. That's it, nothing else. And I decided, I quickly researched who the previous year's winners were, who were all Fortune 500 corporate women. And I thought I didn't have a chance. But what I did know was that there was a project that I really wanted to start. And I just poured my heart out in those last 30 minutes I had to meet the deadline in that application. And I mean, what do you have to lose, right? 2 weeks later,
Mhm.
I got a letter saying I had been selected as one of their grant winners, won $20,000 plus a wardrobe, a reception by Vanity Fair, a boss man of Dee Dee Myers, the first female press secretary at the White House under Bill Clinton. So again, the resources, the opportunities are there. You just have to take the initiative to search for them.
Wow. That
And
is
see,
amazing.
I think especially when it comes to, like you said, just researching and finding the grants and 30 minutes before the close of it, I think that's probably one of the biggest hiccups because a lot of times people don't know. They
Mhm.
either just they don't know, or they don't know where to research or how to research. A lot of times you'll hear the difficulty of completing a grant. You need to have a grant writer with you. You don't
Yes.
know a grant writer, you
Mm-hmm.
kind of just say, forget it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people basically become their own closed
Right.
door. There's really no other way to say
Mhm.
it, because you kind of go off of what you're
Right.
told. You go off of someone else's experience before you try to do your own experience. So
Yes.
I know it's a lot of people that just heard what you said and that are saying, I'm going to do this again, because
Good.
I
there
know
are
one
several
thing.
grants out there that we don't know.
Mm-hmm. Well,
My
recently, I just within the past 2 weeks, I've helped um, um, maybe 15, 20 people that I know receive over $400,000 in grant money due to COVID-19. And all it required was a 5-minute application. That's it. And
oh,
no paperwork.
and we talking after this. We gonna talk after this.
Exactly. We definitely, it's some conversations outside. We need to end the interview. And thank you so much.
So the thing there, and again, about, cultivating the relationships, in your circle, and making sure that you have people who know what you
Right,
don't know.
Mm.
right.
Hmm.
This is true. And I think that's probably another major issue that people have is actually knowing that right circle, because you
Mhm.
have the trust issue, or you'll have the I've known this person for years issue.
Yes.
Um, I think it really just sounds like it's just a lot of growth that needs to happen in
Yes.
regard to doing what you want,
I'm sorry,
Absolutely.
and
Kelly, you're
there's a
breaking up.
inspiration.
Yeah, you're breaking up,
So
Kelly. Kelly, you breaking up really bad, really bad. But Miss Karen, what you were saying, far as like the,
better. I'm sorry.
it's still you still going in and out, Miss Karen. So what you were saying, far as we do apologize for the technical difficulties, but Miss Karen, what you were saying, far as the seven rules,
Hmm.
um, you were saying far as like the people in your circle, making sure that they pretty much don't, you said make sure they know more than you, because I've heard a saying like that, make sure your circle, if you have people in your circle, make sure the people in your circle are like at a higher level than you are.
Higher
That
level.
way they could pull you up. So do you think that's a true statement? Because I heard that statement before.
Yes, it is a true statement, and I can tell you myself, I didn't have when I looked at my inner circle, I didn't have a physician listed, on or high on my list. I thought, first of all, I thought, what in the world would I need with a physician? I mean, I'm not in the health field.
Right.
I also didn't have an attorney listed, but my physician. Interesting thing about my physician, Dr. Carroll, she's also now a mentor. She's become a confidant and she's become a
Mm.
business partner. And the interesting thing is, I mean, she'll call me in the middle of the night and I'm thinking she's calling me for health reasons. She's like, no, did you file your taxes? Or we need to talk about this business plan, or you need to do X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z. But remember,
Mhm.
she's a physician, but she also has two private practices. So she understands business, right?
Mm.
Right.
But just because we're in one field, it doesn't mean that we are, we don't have multiple skill sets and multiple talents and gifts. And
Mhm.
that's the key. My attorney, the same way. I mean, I just happened to have lunch with her. And now these women travel with me internationally all over the world, everywhere we go. I mean, they're my ride and die. And I honestly don't know what I would do without them because my work, the high level work that I requires, interesting enough, that I need a physician, that I need, an attorney. You'd be surprised how many situations that I've been involved with doing work where, you need to know if I'm hosting an international retreat in a particular country, I need to know, what the medical facilities are if someone gets hurt, right?
Right.
Um, there are liability issues. And so the doctor, she's automatically thinking about those things. And then the attorney is also thinking about things. So the key is really, I think, there's a saying, like they say, if you walk into a room and you're the smartest person in the room, then you need to leave, right? So
Mhm.
you can learn so much. And I've learned so much from my inner circle by allowing these women to come in it. So what I always suggest that you do is you look at your circle, see who's in it, who adds value, right? And
Mhm.
and if they don't add value, that doesn't mean that you can't love them from afar. It just means that you need to to sort of remove them so that you can make room for those who will add value. um, and that really is what's key. And I think the other thing is, when you expand your circle, you want to look at what is it that you really want to do, and when you want to do it, what networks can you tap into, right?
Mhm.
For
Mhm.
example, I am launching a online group for badass spiritual women, the end of this week. And it's for that purpose, is so that women who are ready to go to the next level can be connected to my inner circle. They can be connected to women who, like we say, who have your solution and not just your problem, right? So you want to tap into other networks where you can be elevated and celebrated.
Wow.
I love that.
We
I
see you
love that.
back, Miss Kelly. We see you back, Miss K. Nicole.
Yes, I'm back. I'm back. I apologize. I don't know what happened, but hopefully you guys can hear me loud and clear. It sounds like I have an echo now.
Yeah, we can hear. Yeah, we can hear you. It's a slight echo, but we can hear you. No, we. I didn't hear you that time.
No, I said I'm gonna work this out, and there we go. I fixed it.
Oh, okay, there it is. Now we were you just gave some examples out of your book, Miss Karen. Tell us a little bit about your book, The Next Level, the 7 rules of everything, because that's exactly what it is.
Okay, it is. I mean, the interesting thing is my very first book, and I wrote the book because Over the years, having personally mentored over 1,000 young women and helping them guide them into successful careers, I thought, how can I reach more women? I mean, I've been doing this work for all of my really adult life. And so how can I reach more women? I think that's my calling and that's my purpose. And so I wrote the book and I said, there's 7 simple rules of success that you need to know. And in that, and fortunately, after writing the book, I plan to self-publish, and I end up getting a book deal. And then after the book deal, I end up getting nominated for an NAACP Image Award.
Yes,
And then after, yeah,
congratulations.
thank you. And then I end up winning the Image Award for the book.
Yes,
So thank you,
Congratulations.
thank you. So it's 7 simple rules of success. The first rule, of course, is discovering your superpowers, your talents, and your gifts. Because I really do believe that that is essential to walking into your purpose and power. Like, for example, the work that you're doing now, it's clear, that you're passionate about, this platform and the work and how it empowers and educates, your audience and listeners. I mean, and that's so important. And I can assure you that you continue to do that there's so many things that are doors and opportunities that are going to open up for you, right? Um, and then, of course, another rule is finding your tribe. Again, finding those 5 people, who will, open their arms and open a whole new world for you within the work that you are destined to do. And then, of course, I also talk about another rule is about expanding your horizons. And I talk about international travel, international philanthropy, and charitable work. I even have resources in the book, a long list of resources about where you can find grants and money. I even share how you can go to medical school for free for 4 years, like literally. That information is right there. So I share all of that information, but those rules have been tried and tested over the years, and they work. I mean, if you apply them, they work. So I do encourage your listeners, those who are ready to go to their next level lives and step into, their purpose, is to grab a copy. It's a tiny
I'm
book.
most
It's a
definitely
quick
gonna get
read.
mine. I'm most definitely gonna get mine.
Awesome, because it will definitely help you
Yes.
and guide you there.
So where
So,
can
with
you learn? Oh, go. Sorry, go ahead.
go ahead.
I
Actually, I
was
think I
just
was going to ask the same question you were. Where
I
can
was
you
gonna
find
ask.
the book?
Right.
Uh, you can find the book in Amazon and all major book retailers now. Amazon, Barnes and Noble. It's online at Walmart, online at Target. But I think it's probably least expensive on Amazon. Mhm.
Oh,
So,
okay.
do you have this as an ebook, or is it just hard copy, soft copy, or both?
Both. It's ebook and a soft copy.
Okay.
Wonderful. I
Okay.
love it. I love it.
Ooh-wee. Look at that. Boy, I can't.
I
Boy,
know
I
there
feel
are
blessed.
so many, yes, there are so many people that are definitely probably running to Amazon, because I know I will be as soon as the interview is clear to
Most
definitely do that.
Mhm.
Um, I know you said that you had an online class, I believe you said, that was a course that was coming up the end of the week.
Mhm.
Um, how can people find out about that?
Yeah, so I will be the it's an online membership sort of mastermind
Mhm.
for, I say, badass spiritual women who are ready to go to the next level, and I will personally, guide them and mentor and coach them through it, and it will start. Let's see, I believe the start is August 4th, but we'll be launching it the end of this week, and you can go to my website, which is www.karenarrington.com, and to get details. And you can also find me on Instagram at Karen underscore Arrington. and on Facebook, the same.
Amen. I
Yes,
know
I
most
love it.
definitely. I can't wait till you launch it because I think I think I want to be a part of that.
Would love to have you. Absolutely. Would love to.
I truly think I would want to be a part of that. That's coming up, in August, because that sounds like something that is now. Is it virtual or is it on location?
It's virtual.
Virtual.
Hmm.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, we will be checking that site out.
Okay.
So it
Look,
seems like you'll have
I'm doing
two
my little,
students already
I'm
set.
doing my little
Would
happy
love to
dance.
have you.
Well, look, if the Lord's willing, she may be having three because you know you can't leave the business part now. So look, I'm doing my
Yes.
little happy dance. I'm doing my little happy dance.
Yes.
Would love to. Would love to have you and see you soar.
Yes, I
Yes,
love it.
most
This is,
definitely.
I mean, I out of everything that you shared, there's not one thing that was not informational and inspiring on so many levels. Um, it seems like there's just growth. This is just an interview of growth. I mean,
Yes.
Oh,
there's
I'm
really no other way to put it. Just the movements that you've made, just from, I believe you said high school or from before Thurgood Marshall, to
Mhm.
now, it shows that you're not afraid to just say, I'm going. Um, this is what's going to happen because I'm going to do everything I need to make it happen. I'm going to connect what I need to connect um, without hesitation, which is what is inspiring, what is empowering. I completely see how everyone would come to you to be a mentor for them on so many different levels. I thank you for everything that you've done. I definitely look forward to learning more about everything that you have going on, especially in Africa.
Yes.
So, yes, and congratulations again on not only the nomination, but the winning of the NAACP award. That's definitely very
Yes.
well deserved.
Thank you so much. I
Yes.
appreciate it.
Yes.
It's been a long road, but I tell you, when you once you make the decision to step into your calling and what your purpose is, I mean, that's the game changer. And
Yes.
then,
Mhm.
and like I said, having helped so many people over the past week or so, I mean, literally have thousands of dollars in their bank account. They didn't even know this money existed. And again, that's about, aligning yourself with people who know more than and that's a good thing, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
when I call my attorney, it's almost laughable. Like, I'll ask the most complicated question and it takes her literally 2 seconds to give me a solution. But that's
Wow.
because, that's her zone of genius. So I want to surround my people where, that their zone of genius is something that's not mine. And that makes what life so easy, and makes, and allows me to be able to attain wealth, to be able to give back in ways that I never even imagined was possible. I mean, I never imagined that I would be, like, hobnobbing with, A-listers. I think I probably was the only non-celebrity at the Image Awards. But again, no one's favor or fluence or influence is greater than God's. So
Come on.
always stay
Come on.
true to your authentic self and what it is that you want, because there are no limits, and He has none for you.
I love it. I
See,
love it.
look, I didn't even have to tell her to give us an inspiration quote because she just gave it to us.
uh,
At all.
So once again, because I know you said you had some things going on, and we truly appreciate you taking this time out. Even with what you have going on, taking this time out to at least speaking with us, giving us the knowledge that you have given with us. You gave some of your social media handles and things like that. If people wanted to continue to connect with you and get to know you and want to reach out to you, can you please give that information again for those that are just tuning in? how they can connect with you.
Absolutely. You can always find me for some reason on Instagram, on Instagram, and that's at Karen
Mm-hmm.
underscore Arrington. That's ARRINGTON. And then, of course, my website is www.karenarrington.com. And my book again is Your Next Level Life: The 7 Rules of Power, Confidence, and Opportunity for Black Women in America. And it's a little pink, tiny book, a gorgeous little tiny book that could actually fit in your in your chic bag. So
Wow.
you can find that on Amazon. And as I said, this is my life work, and I would do this whether I was paid for it or not. So I look forward to working with you all, and anything that I can do to support you. I encourage your readers and listeners to reach out to me. As I said, I had someone reach out to me the other day, and she was devastated based on COVID-19 and what was happening with the travel industry. And I immediately said, listen, this is what you need to do. And she couldn't believe that it literally took me 5 seconds to tell her what to do. And she came back and she said, "Oh my God, I just got hired as a consultant for
Wow.
tourism officials in this country." Well, there you go. I mean, again, it's stop hanging around people who have your problem and hang with people who have your solution.
Come on now. Miss
Amen.
Karen, you have 2 new best friends.
I'm trying to tell you.
I love
I'm trying to tell you.
y'all.
I'm trying to tell
Okay.
you. I truly, truly appreciate you being with us. We're
Yes.
not gonna hold you any longer, but if you can just give us a few minutes, we're gonna just wrap this up real quick, and we're gonna come back and then say our goodbyes to you. So thank you so
Absolutely.
much.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much for being
Thank
on
you.
here, dropping the nuggets and the knowledge that you have gave us.
Amazing
We
gems.
truly appreciate it so much, so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Yes,
you.
don't go nowhere. We're coming
Okay. I
right.
will.
Don't go nowhere. Hold on.
Mhm.
Wow, that was amazing.
When I
I
say the definition of an inspirational call,
yes.
um, I can officially say I truly believe that the month of July, which is my birthday month,
Yes, her birthday
is
is next
going to,
week, y'all. Her birthday next week.
yes,
Yes,
next
yes,
Monday. Praise God. Um,
yes,
but yes, I can say that I believe that this month of July, even though, we have everything that's going on, as I've said so many times before, you have to find that positive, that gleam of light in every negative and dark
yes,
area. Because
yes,
if you try to hold on to what is negative, you will never see the beauty that is on the other side. We
yes.
all go through a storm. After the storm comes light, comes the
Hmm.
rainbow, it comes the beauty. That's when everything grows. It's
Yes,
clean. So I am truly grateful for this interview as I was for last week. And
yes.
I'm sure it will be for the weeks to come because these women are truly inspirational.
And as I've always said, seven is one of the most divine numbers. Is the number of completion, and we are in the seventh month of the year. So I'm so grateful at how God has just lined everything up. So truly, truly grateful. Some amazing knowledge from some amazing women. Make sure you guys tune in next week where we have another amazing woman, Miss Keisha Green. All these women are very inspiring, inspirational. That's why they are Inspiration 98.7. I'm trying to tell somebody, y'all better connect the dots, connect the dots. So make sure you guys tune in for a women's point of view next Tuesday with Miss Keisha Green. That's an amazing story in itself. So you guys have to tune in so you can catch what's going on. And make sure you tune in this Thursday at 7 p.m. for The Way with Shelly LJ. Are here
Yes.
right here on Inspiration 98.7. We truly, truly are blessed that you guys was here with us. We hope that you got something out of this. Do you have anything else to say, Miss K. Nicole?
Listen, for those who may catch this on the replay for YouTube, if you have any questions that you were not able to ask at this current time for Miss Karen, please send them to Inspiration Radio 987's Instagram page or the email, which is inspiration 987 radio, inspiration radio 987 at gmail.com. Hey, it's a lot that's been happening.
Yes.
But please submit your questions. We will make sure that Ms. Arrington gets those questions. We will try to get the responses back to you, whether they be via message, email, or on air.
Yes. So we truly appreciate you guys being a part. Make sure you tune in for some more great music here on Inspiration 98.7. And don't forget, Whispers in the Dark comes on tonight at 9 o'clock. So you guys stay tuned.
8 Central.
Yes, 8 Central Time. I'm sorry, I have a lot of Chicago listeners. 8 Central. Thank you.
Yes.
You guys have a good one. Have a good evening. Good night.
Good night.